Hi everyone, it's Kay Kaltoff and welcome. It's a Stamping to Share video this morning. We are live on Facebook and I'll be going on a premiere tomorrow at YouTube at 10 a.m. in case you're unable to watch this live today. And so over at YouTube, we can kind of chat in the comments before it goes live for everyone. Hi Linda, thank you for joining me. It's great to have you here. We are going to use the stamp set that's called Gone Fishing, and it looks like this, and I really love it. And then one of the cards right here, we're going to use another stamp set that I really love, and it's called Lasting Joy. Really love this. You've seen me use it a couple of times, and I've had a few customers who have ordered it as their Happy Stamper stamp set. So that means if you get 10 tokens from me, you can turn in 10 tokens for a free stamp set. And you earn a token for $50 for a $50 increment on your order. And so I appreciate all of my customers and their good loyalty through the years. It's been just amazing. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. The first card we're going to make is actually the little bit easier one. It's this one right here. And you can tell it's just a matter of putting some designer series paper onto a piece of matte background, or matte cardstock, which in this case is going to be Night of Navy. And then we also have, so it's just a very simple design and just very simple stamping. And we'll be able to complete this card in very little time. And I'll even be able to share a tip with you about my how I stamped this. Now, I do want to say, for those of you that, I actually had someone send me a message, and I'm just going to share with you, I do have some sores on my hands, and it is from pulling weeds without gloves on. So you can see where they are. They're wherever, when I'm pulling a weed, I just am so compelled to pull weeds out at the farm. I have nothing on my left hand because I'm right-handed. So I'm pulling with my right hand. And I always try to wear gloves. But when I don't wear gloves, I'm just out, walking or doing something in the yard or emptying the compost bin, anything real quick. I always think to myself, oh, I don't need gloves for this. And I walk outside with no gloves. And then the next thing you know, I'm pulling weeds, which is naughty, naughty, naughty. And I need to not do that because I immediately get these sores on my hands from the juices from the weeds. So that's what's going on there. And actually this thing here is just a scar. I was, how many of you have ever had those shredders? Those big box shredders, and I was doing, I don't know, some cheese or something, and I was going like this really hard, and then I think I must have turned my wrist, or I don't know what I was doing, but somehow I shredded my knuckle. So that bled for a long time. I don't know why I bleed so easy, but I do. And then, of course, since it was right on the knuckle, that has been an annoyance for the longest time. But enough said about all my injuries and things going on. But Kathy's telling me that she's a little stuck on this stamp set, so she's excited to get some ideas. Great. And Yvonne has shared. Thank you, you guys. I really appreciate it. So awesome. So anyway, if you see little injuries on my right hand, it's from pulling weeds. That's exactly what I was trying to talk about. But I promise now, we're really going to get down to card making. So let's go ahead and, oh gosh, you know what? I just happened to think. I've got some paper pumpkin stuff to share too, and I'm trying to think, should I share that now or should I share that later? You know what? I'm going to share that at the end. So for those of you that enjoy paper pumpkin stuff, I'm going to share that at the end, and I'm also going to share what I'm doing at the farm at the end. So if you're not interested in those things, you can just, go do something else. But for those of you that are, just stay until the very end, and I'll share my July paper pumpkin and the new things at the farm here. So this is what the inside of the card looks like. Super easy. So let's go ahead and do that one. And then this is the other card that we're going to do. It's a little bit of a fun fold. So you've got a tuck-in spot right here, and then you open it up and you've got a cute little place to add a sentiment of your own on the inside. Plus there is a little pocket here. So in addition to this little card that fits in, you could also put a gift card, which is pretty nifty. So let's go ahead here. Niecy's here. Yes, the scrape knuckles, terrible. Julie's here. Thank you, you guys. All right, so I know. The first thing I'm going to do, I'm just really discombobulated today, and at the end of the video, you will see why. All right, we've got the Let's Go Fishing Designer Series paper, which reminds me to tell you that I do have paper shares going on right now. I'm starting to take payments tomorrow, so I'll send out the PayPal invoices tomorrow, and honestly, you will be in the first round of shares. So I would suggest that if you want to be in my first round of shares, go to my blog, stampingtoshare.com, and look at all the information, and there should be a link here in the more area. So this is some really cool checked paper behind the fish, and that is in wild wheat, and then we've got mossy meadow going on. Let me just take this out so I don't bend everything. Here's another one, another pattern. Really love this paper. This is all cut 12 by 6, and so I do have a 12 by 6 share, and I have a 6 by 6 share. And there we go. I love this pattern. Oh, it's just so soothing to me. I love water, so of course that's a good one. And I have done my fair of fishing through the years, so I know it's not a sport just for guys, but I did mention that these cards for the most part are more masculine. I do go to the cabin a lot, and my husband fishes a lot, and I do not. I prefer to stay indoors and stamp. So here's another look at the last paper. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and put this in here. All right, so now the next thing I'm going to do is we're gonna do all of our stamping for this first card. So let me grab everything out. I do have a little prepared piece that I prepared, but I will show you how to stamp it to give you some advice about that. All right, so let's go ahead and get this card base done. And it is 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. Thank you, Joanne. She loves the cards. Donna's here from Pennsylvania. Wonderful. Linda wishes her husband would fish. Yeah, I'm kind of lucky. It gives me about 3 hours in the morning and 3 hours in the evening when we're up at the cabin that I don't have to do anything else. I can just play with my own stuff. So this is thick, very vanilla. And then this is what we're going to stamp, Happy Retirement. I always like to have a few retirement cards on hand because my husband's at an age now where a lot of his coworkers are retiring in their 60s. And yeah, that has kind of become a thing. So sometimes I need a retirement card. He's a few years away from it yet, but a lot of his coworkers are kind of in the thick of it. Let me show you the colors we're using on this card for ink. We're using Night of Navy, Calypso Coral, and Crumb Cake. We're going to use Night of Navy for our sentiment. And again, this says Happy Retirement. We're just going to stamp that right in the middle. Did I even say the measurements? I don't remember. I think I just took the scrap off. Maybe I did. I don't know. 1 3/8 by 2 3/8 is that panel. And that's kind of important because you want everything to look nicely balanced. So it's a good idea to share the measurements, Kay, if I did not. All right, so I don't need my little extra scrap or my little extra piece because I think my stamping turned out great. Now I have another scrap here, and this is what I'm going to stamp the bobber on. And this took a while for me to figure out how to do it just right. And I discovered that if I stamped the red part of the bobber first, I had a lot more success lining everything up so that that bobber was not discombobulated. Maybe I'll stamp it both ways to show you what I mean. I'm going to try to stamp it the good way first. So this is, again, Calypso Coral. I'm going to stamp it right here. Looks nice. Then I'm going to take the shape of the bobber right here, and we're going to overstamp. And I'm going to center that in. Oh, I do have to move it forward so I can get my head a little bit more over the top of it. See, this is the problem doing lives. Oh, but look how good that turned out. That is so good. Whoops, you can't see it. There you go. It is so good. Yes, so good. Now let me show you what happened when I was trying to do it the other way, because I think just naturally we want to do the bigger image first. So when I do that first, and then I try to stamp that shadow piece, which is actually a pretty bright color. It's not really a shadow, but you know what I mean, the color. It is hard for me to line it up. Now this time it'll probably work great because I'm on video. Oh, but it didn't. Okay, so now you know just exactly how fussy I am about my stamping. Can you tell that on the left side, it floats a little bit? And I was trying to do it really, really good. So my suggestion, if you're using this, is to go ahead, stamp your bigger image first, and then go ahead and add your color. That is what worked for me. Candy's telling me that her Gone Fishing bundle has arrived and she's ready to make more man cards. Hooray, good job. Oh yes, and Donna's saying lots of baby boomers getting to retirement age. Yep, it's a thing. All right, I'm done with Calypso Coral, so I'm going to put that one away. And then I think I'm gonna go ahead and stamp my inside panel right away. So we are going to bring out the crumb cake. I think I will grab this scrap because I want to do a stamp off with the fish. I don't want it too dark. So I've got my little fish here, and I'm going to stamp my fish first. Do I want to stamp my fish first? Yes, I do. All right, so I'm going to grab my card, open it up. I'm going to stamp off once, just very, very lightly. And then I'm going to stamp my fish. Yes, I like that. Nice and light. So I'm sorry, when I hold it up, it seems like I'm missing the camera. So sorry. All right, then we're gonna go ahead and stamp the sentiment, which is good things come to them who wait. There we go. And I just love that the fish is just very shadowy there in the background. All right, so let's go ahead now and add our little strip of designer series paper at the bottom. That should be somewhere, but I'm not seeing it. Hold on, let me get the inks out of the way because we are done with all of the inks. I did all of the stamping here right away. Oh, I have my strip over here. All right, so the strip we're putting on the inside is just a piece of the fish paper that's going to coordinate with the biggest piece of designer series paper on the outside of the card. It's 3/4 inches by 4 inches. And I'll just put that in with a little multi-purpose liquid glue. Now on thick Whisper White, I don't mind using glue because I know it's not going to show through because it's 100 weight cardstock. So it makes a difference when you're using the thick vanilla, the thick vanilla or the thick basic white. All right. The next thing we're going to do is we're just going to put all of those mats together. So let me grab, I'll keep these handy, and let me grab all of the mats. And I'll give you all of these measurements because you need them. Okay, so let's put a mat around our happy retirement first. That's 1.5 by 2.5. Now this is on regular, very vanilla cardstock, so I am going to use my Stampin' Seal for that. And then I am going to hold it in each corner, and that way I can see as long as I'm getting the upper right and the bottom left where I want it, then if I've cut straight, it should look good all the way around. Pretty good. All right, so then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to do this square panel, and that is a 2 7/8 inch square of the wavy water. And that is going over a panel of Night of Navy that is 3 by 3. So this, I feel confident using our multi-purpose liquid glue, so I'm just going to go ahead and do that. I find using the glue is very fast. And then another thing I love about using the glue is I can just put it on and wiggle it into place so I get everything really, really even. And then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put this panel on. So it's our fish panel, which is of course matching our inside panel here. It's the biggest panel on the front of our card. This is 3 by 5 inches. And then the matting panel, which is in Night of Navy, is 3 1/8 by 5 1/8. And again, I'm going to use some multi-purpose liquid glue to attach this. Now, when I put my glue on the back of my designer series paper, I am not pushing hard. I am just lightly gliding it around. If you push hard, that is another thing that can make lines, because if you push so hard, you can actually create the line with an indentation. And so that is another mistake that I've seen some people make using glue. They just push so hard and there's really no reason. You just want to lightly put it onto your paper. All right, so now we can go ahead and start assembling our card. So again, because this is thick, very vanilla, I can use glue. I'm not going to worry about any glue lines. But if I was using the regular very vanilla, I would definitely use Stampin' Seal. So now we're just going to set this in. And what we want to do is we want the top, the bottom, and the right to be nice and even. Now we're going to take the square panel and we are going to set that about a 1/2 inch up from the bottom. And we want the left side to be about the same distance as the right side. And there we go. And then our happy retirement is going to be put on with dimensionals. So I've got some dimensionals here, so let me go ahead and add those. And then I'm going to take all of the little peelies off. And now when we put this on, we want to put it about a 1/2 inch up from the bottom of the square. And then we want about the same distance here as we have here. So let's go ahead and see how we can do that. So do you see how these two have very similar distances? And then this and this have similar distances. Okay, so that adds a really nice balanced look to your layout. Thank you, Yvonne. She likes my layout too. Thank you, Rosemary, for the compliment on the cards. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take our bobber and what did I do here? So what I did is I put a glue dot just to adhere this to the corner, and then I added some dimensionals. So let me grab my glue dots. And I don't think I put glue dots in my supply list. I was scrambling to get my supply list up before I went live, as I usually am. Somehow or another, I just can't seem to think things through in a logical order when I sit down. It's probably just because I'm so out of practice with doing Facebook Lives. I don't remember struggling this much back in the day when I was doing them regularly. Hopefully those old habits will kick in pretty soon. So what I did is I put a glue dot here just to adhere it up in this upper left, and then I've got my dimensional here. We're just gonna set that in. And now your bobber is gonna be the same level as your happy retirement. So now the next thing we wanna do is we want to add a little bit of linen thread up here just to give the idea of it being on, I don't know, on a bobber that's floating along, you know. I'm trying to give the look of fishing line. Okay, so if you have a 1/8 inch circle punch, you could certainly punch a little hole here. There's actually room for that if you want to do that. Oh, that's just way too much work for me. So even though I have one, I just am going to take a little bit of linen thread, and I'm just cutting enough now so I can work with it nice and easily. And what I do, oops, let me get this all set up. I just fold it in half, and then I am just going to put a knot around a loop. No fancy fishing ties here. Can you see what I'm doing? And I'm leaving that loose because I want to have it big enough that I can put a glue dot on the bottom of that. And then I'm just going to actually tuck that right there. See how cool that looks? All right, so now let's go ahead and put that actually onto my card. So I think my fingers are too big. Whenever your fingers feel too big, take your pick tool, because it's a really nice way to extend your reach without your fingers getting in the way. So I'm kind of pushing that glue dot into a better shape. All right, so now I'm just going to set that glue dot on the back of this knot where hopefully it will be invisible. All right, then I'm going to tuck the loop underneath my bobber. All right, I'm sure, there we go, that's where I want it. And then I can press my glue dot down. There we go. Then I can take my scissors and if you twist it a little bit, it'll stay in place a little better. So I'm going to make one a little shorter and one a little longer. And you guys can do whatever you want, but that's the look I like. There. And it just sits for you really perfectly. I find that linen thread is really quite easy to work with, so I use it a lot in my card making. So there are the two cards. And they're just really nice masculine cards. Really, really nice. Now, of course, you could make this a birthday card. Oh, did you see what I forgot? Because, you know, as good guy cards, sometimes we don't put much on for embellishments, but I think when it's water, you can definitely have some little sparkles on your water. So we've got to grab our sparkles. These are the Neutrals adhesive backed sequins, and I'm going to use this kind of white silvery color. So if you've ever been fishing while the sun shines, you know all about the sparkles on the water, so it's nice to put those in. So I'm going to take a bigger one and set that down here kind of in this corner, right where the bobber, right here in this corner between the sentiment and the bobber. And then I'm going to take two smaller ones, and we'll put one here in this little corner section, and then the other one we'll bring up here. And now we've added some sparkles to our water. I'm really glad I didn't forget that, because I do think that adds a lot to your card. All right, so now let me put this away, and let's get out our other card that we're going to make. So here is the other card that we're going to make. This is kind of a little fun fold card, so I think you guys are going to enjoy this. This card was, I think both of these cards were actually demo meeting mystery cards. This first one a while back, and then this one, gosh, I'm not sure, but I almost think it was was it just this past demo meeting? I think it was. I think it was our August mystery card at our demo meeting. And it's always so much fun to see everybody's version of this. So I love I love being a leader in Stampin' Up! And having all of these wonderful downline people that are so talented. Oh my goodness, I don't even know how to tell you how grateful I am. So grateful. Okay, so here, let's go ahead now and get started with this one. So we are going to start with the stamping again. So there's two bits of stamping. There's stamping on our oval, and there's going to be stamping on the inside panel of this card. So let's go ahead and get the measurements and get that all stamped. So first of all, you're just gonna get stamp on scrap for your birthday wishes. And the birthday wishes is coming from this stamp set right here, Lasting Joy. It's just got a really nice sized birthday wishes, and I like it, and it's got a really nice sentiment to put on the inside panel. So I find myself grabbing this a lot. All right, for this, our ink color is going to be Mossy Meadow, and I'm going to ink this stamp, and I love that Stampin' Up! Is getting more and more photopolymer stamps. It truly is my preferred stamp. I think I'll put this over here a little bit because I like being able to see where I'm stamping, and I do think it's easier for new stampers. Oops, I'm gonna leave this open because I have a little bit more stamping to do. Now I'm going to take my punch, I'm going to insert it. Oh, and I didn't get it quite low enough. When that happens, grab a scissors. Oh no, I only have a ribbon scissors. I have to walk a couple steps. Give me a second. I have these big scissors because when I moved to the farm, I mean, I don't know where I'd kept them in the cities, but when I moved to the farm, I found them and I'm like, man, I need to use these. I love these scissors, and I do. Stampin' Up! Used to sell them, they no longer do, but I thought, well, I'm still gonna use them because I love them. All right, so here is the birthday wishes, and we're just bringing that down. We just cut off a little bit so I could center it into my double oval punch. Now we want to mat this, and so to mat this, we're going to take another little scrap here, this one of Mossy Meadow, and we're just going to punch out our scalloped oval. And I did use regular vanilla, so once again, I'm going to use our Stampin' Seal to attach this. Oh, we have some new joiners. Hello, Deb. Thanks for joining us. I'm so glad that more and more people are finding me. You know, when you're gone for over a year, you just, you know, you kind of don't have a lot of expectations coming back. So very nice. Thank you for all of your support and encouragement. Now we're going to stamp our inside panel. So let me share with you what the inside panel size is. It's 3 1/4 by 4 inches. And once again, using the Mossy Meadow, we're going to ink up our inside sentiment from Lasting Joy. There. And I left a little room here, a little more room than there. All right, so we've got our stamping done. I'm going to get the ink out of the way. And now let's move on to the next portion of, oops, hold on. Almost dropped something. I have all this paper pumpkin stuff sitting on my left, so I have had to reach quite a bit. All right, so now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put together this little pocket part and this whole little card piece that's going to hold our inside card panel. So we've got a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch piece of the Mossy Meadow. And then we're going to be putting this very vanilla piece onto it. It's 5 1/4 by 5 1/2, scored at 4 inches on the long side. So on the 5 1/2 inch side, you will make a score line at 4 inches. Okay. Then go ahead and fold this up. And I like to, I like to use a bone folder to make that a nice crisp fold. There we go. And now I'm going to be attaching a strip of DSP. This is 3/4 inches by 5 1/4. And sometimes when I try to do that and I'm kind of working with light backgrounds, I can't really see that I'm getting it just where I want it. So sometimes it's helpful if you take like a contrasting color, like in this case, this blue will work. And so again, I wouldn't want to use this color because again, that's too close. I wouldn't be able to see very well. So let me show you what I mean here in a second. So I'm going to put a little glue on the back of this. I'm sure all of you are pretty experienced stampers, so you know what I'm talking about. But I have found that sometimes I need a contrasting background so I can make sure that I'm scooting this up far enough so there's no line like this showing. That doesn't look good. Scoot that up all the way to the top. Perfect. Thank you, card base. All right, so now we're going to take this, and you know what we're going to do? We want this to be really sturdy. And again, this is something I think I forgot to put on the supply list, but you're going to want to use tear and tape for your side edges to make that really sturdy, because tear and tape is super, super sturdy. So I'm going to find the end here. And I am just going to put this right close to that edge. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Right close to the edge. And then I can use my Take Your Pick tool to pull off that top piece. Because otherwise I just can't grab it. But maybe your nails are a little more friendly with that. All right, then I kind of want to make sure that I give myself a little bit of a pocket there so I can add a gift card. So sometimes I just insert a piece of cardstock or something in, just so that when I'm putting these edges down, there's a little bit of give through the middle so I can actually put something in it, All right, now we're going to go ahead and we're going to put this on our panel of Mossy Meadow, and I am going to use Stampin' Seal. And don't worry about Stampin' Seal not being strong enough. It is so strong. You don't have to worry about this coming apart, despite the fact that people will be pushing things in and out of it. All right, there we go. So we have our holder ready to go. Now let's go ahead and finish up the card part, which is this part right here. So I need a few more supplies. So let me grab them. I need to make a little card base. So we are going to be using a piece of Misty Moonlight. This is 4 1/4 by 7 inches, scored at 3 1/2. I'm going to fold it in half, and I'm going to take my bone folder. And now we can go ahead and we can put our inside panel on. And you know me, I like everything loose and flowing, so I don't like everything just, put down like on all 4 sides. That's never really been my style. I think it just looks more fancy if it's a little more loose. That's my opinion. All right, and now we are going to put this panel on, but you don't want to put it on too quickly because we have to do a ribbon wrap. So let's discuss where that ribbon wrap should be, okay? So this panel of Designer Series paper, again, we're using those little floating fish, 3 1/4 by 4 inches. And we are going to use a new ribbon that's joined the Stampin' Up! Ribbon selection. And this one is the large check ribbon that is in black and very vanilla. It's fantastic. One of my new favorite ribbons from the new mini catalog that's going to be debuting. So I am going to put this so that I have enough to do a wraparound on both sides. And then I've got my linen thread because we're going to make a little pretty bow right here. So what I'm thinking about is I want this to be in a spot, because I want my fish, or I want my sentiments probably going to be about right here. It's going to be a little bit higher than normal because it's going to come over the flap that's on this base piece. And so I think this looks pretty good. Let me just grab a measuring tool here because I know sometimes people like to know. It's about 1 1/8 inches from this right side. That one is 1 inch. This one's 1 1/8 inches. But I think right in that area is good. So once you get it where you want it, just press it down. I think I am going to bring it over just a little bit more so you can see this fish up here a little better. So about 1 inch from that right side. Then fold it over and grab some tape, or however you like to fasten your ribbon. Some people like to use the Stampin' Seal, and that works great too. I was a card maker for years before becoming a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. Oh, and some habits just never die. So I started stamping in 2000, and I always used Scotch tape to adhere my ribbon. And I just got used to that, and that's what I like to do. I didn't become a demonstrator for 7 years after I was a customer. Oh, all those wasted years. But I did hone my skills. All right, so then this now can be put onto the front of this little card base. So I can use some multi-purpose liquid glue to do that. Thank you, Julie, for the nice compliment. She's telling me that she finds this quite adorable. I appreciate it. And Joan is back. Great to see you too, Joan. Thanks for joining us. Whoops. Did you see what I almost did? I almost put those fishies on upside down. That would not have been good. Alrighty. This looks good to me. Now it's time to put this into this little slot. And the thing that I'm looking for is I want my top, my right, and my left all to be about even. And then I'm going to grab my happy birthday wishes, and I'm only going to put dimensionals on the top part. I want the bottom to be open so that it will catch like this. See? So I'm going to grab a couple dimensionals here. They should be on my desk because I did use them just a teeny bit ago. Where did they go? Where did they go? Oh, here they are. I actually put them away. That's so rare. All right, so we're just going to set these in. Now I did kind of make an effort to make the flat edge right like that so that when it comes up against this, it stops at the same time. All right, so now we're just going to set this in, and I'm just pushing it down until I feel resistance from the dimensionals, and then I know I have it in the right place. And now I can pull it out of this little flap, and I don't lose the sentiment. The sentiment stays there, and then when I put it back in, it just sort of adds to the whole card design, doesn't it? It's just great. All right, so now let's do the finishing touch on this, and that is to take some linen thread, and we are going to scoot that under this fantastic ribbon. Boy, I put that on pretty tight. There we go. Oh, I used way too much, but that's okay. Then right above my sentiment, I'm going to be like I'm tying my shoes. So just do one crossover and pull it really tight so it grabs the ribbon. And then we're just gonna do a bow. And we're gonna do a bigger, floppier bow. Oh, that looks so cute. A bigger, floppier bow as she fusses. There we go. And then we can just go ahead, trim, trim, maybe trim a teeny bit more. There, perfect. Let me show it to you. So here's one with the card out. And here's one with the card in. And of course, I made sure that that pocket was roomy enough that you could tuck a gift card in the back part of it as well. So much fun, right? Okay, now I want to show you a few more things. So for those of you that are fairly new to what I do, I want to share what we did last week. So last week, we used the Countryside Corners bundle, and we made these two cards with the beautiful designer series paper that's called the Countryside Inn designer series paper, and it was so much fun. So we do these little get-togethers on Tuesday mornings. And if you ever want to join us live, it's always here on my Facebook page, Stamping to Share. And then the next day on Wednesday at 10 a.m., I'm over on YouTube and I do the premiere with you and we can chit chat in the comments. So these were what we did last week. So you're welcome to check that out. All you have to do is scroll down in Facebook or run over to YouTube and you can find it. Then today we did these two cards. Just fantastic, great guy cards. And then next week, I want to give you a preview of what we're going to do next week, and it's going to be this one. So this is done with the Translucent Petals stamp set, and it's something from our mini catalog that is debuting on September 6th. So even though I'm going to share this with you next week on Tuesday, you won't actually be able to order a lot of the supplies for it, well, at least the stamp set / bundle for it, until the following Thursday. I think that's right. I don't have my calendar. I think it's the 6th of I think the 6th of September is either a Wednesday or Thursday. I'm just not sure. Sorry. I just don't know. But we'll be doing this card, and I love it. Now, I may only be doing this card. It may just be a one-card show next week, and I'm going to be sharing why in a few minutes. So you may want to hang on to the end of this video to see why I may only be doing one card. But before we get to that point where I take the video off and all of its shakiness and show you around, I want to share with you the July paper pumpkin. So it was called Fun in the Sun. And came with a stamp set, came with some ink pad here, which I don't have. And it comes with instructions, of course. And let me show you the cards that were part of the actual kit, so you can see how awesome they were. It was one of my favorite, one of my total favorites. First of all, I love the envelopes. Oh my gosh, look at these envelopes. So cute. And then these were all fun fold cards. Oh my gosh, look at these darling cards. They're so darling. Let's see. I feel like there's one more. Yes, I missed it. Right here. So these are the 3 cards that came in the kit, along with envelopes. So I'm going to put those out for you to admire for a second. Now I want to show you some alternative cards. So I have 3 alternative cards here. And check these bright, sunny, awesome things. Oh my goodness. Look how pretty these are. Ah, yes. July was a hot month, so doing these cards was really super fun. Cause it just made you want to be at the beach, even though I wasn't. It was still fun to do these cards. Okay, so there we go. That was the July paper pumpkin kit with some alternative ideas for you. Now I want to share something with the paper pumpkin kit that is coming out in September. There is going to be an item that you can purchase either in advance or I think right after. It's basically while supplies last. But if you are a Paper Pumpkin subscriber, you can get this notebook. It's a journal. And I have not opened it up yet because I wanted you to be here with me when I open it up. And this is called Thoughts of Thanks Journal. So it goes with the Thoughts of Thanks Paper Pumpkin kit that's going to debut in September. Now the journal does not come in the Paper Pumpkin kit. It's an extra purchase and you have to be a Paper Pumpkin subscriber in order to get the journal. But let me just share with you the unboxing of this journal because I've got it and I'm really excited about it. So a cute little gold clip. And it says Paper Pumpkin on the back in case you'd ever forget. And look at this cover, you guys. It has so much gorgeous foil sparkle. Can you see it when I twist it around? And it's got a really nice, matches the clip perfectly. The gold binding is gorgeous. And then you can open it up and look. Actually stickers that are not loose. They're actually part of your journal. So beautiful. Uh-oh, you're hearing a little noise of why I'm so busy. So you get 2 big pages of stickers. I should tell you how big this journal is. Let me see if I can find my ruler. I did have it. I honestly, truly had it. Here it is. I'm just gonna measure it. It's 8 by 10. So it's an 8 by 10 inch journal. And then just beautiful lined pages with kind of a crumb cake. Wow, serious journaling, you guys. Look at this. I've actually been looking for a journal, so I was really quick to get this ordered because there's so much to be grateful for and so much to be thankful for, and it's going to be fun to be able to have a really special journal to put that in. All right, so that is the Paper Pumpkin add-on, which you must be a Paper Pumpkin subscriber in order to get this add-on. All right, so I'm going to set that away, and I'm going to take the camera down, and I'm going to show you all the fun things here. So just give me a second. All right, so let me share with you why I'm so busy. Look at the little poochie. Hi, this is Bonnie, everybody. You're getting a little peek of Bonnie. Can you sit? Can you sit? Yes. Let's see if I can get a little, oh, she's gonna lick the camera. Hold on, Bonnie. I'm trying to get her at arm's length. I actually did a practice Facebook Live yesterday without being on Facebook, just talking for a half an hour. Actually, it's almost an hour already. Just talking to make sure she would behave while I was doing Facebook Lives. But she is an Irish doodle, and we got her this weekend, so I'd have some company out on the farm. So she is about 16 weeks old, so about 4 months, and she's a handful. So let me just check to see how oh, let me see. I'll get a good look at her. Oh, she just wants to follow me. No, down. What can I all say about her? She's adorable. Her name is Bonnie. I love her very, very much. And I've already walked 3 miles today. And it's not even 11 o'clock. Yeah, because we get lots of exercise now that I have a puppy. But the other thing I've got going on, oh yeah, we've got our big crate right here, which I could have put her in if I was a little worried. But this is the other thing I've got going on. I've already put up 17 pints of tomatoes. And today I'll be putting up probably about, I don't know, I think I'm gonna go work in quarts today. So maybe about I'm thinking 12 quarts of tomatoes possibly is left here. Oh, it's so much work. But I always appreciate it come winter when I want good tomatoes and I can just go down to the basement and get them. So let me flip the camera here. Oh, goodness. So thank you so much, everybody, for joining me. I truly appreciate you. I appreciate that you took part of your day to spend it with me. It means a lot. And I'm going to let you go, and I don't think my computer or my video gave out today, so I should be able to get all of this onto our YouTube premiere tomorrow. Bye everybody, have a wonderful day, and like I said, I may only be doing one card next week on Tuesday because I'm just a little busy. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.